Islam Makhachev's first welterweight title defense is already exploding into chaos, and by the end of this video you'll understand exactly why Ian Garry believes he's the man destined to tear the belt off him in the biggest upset of the year.
But there still holds. There are still holds that you can see. If you watch that fight and you focus on the striking, there's obvious gaps that I will absolutely take advantage of.
Ian Garry doesn't just call out Islam Makhachev, he detonates on him, accusing Islam's team of begging for a washed Kamaru Usman because they're terrified of fresh blood.
Belal Muhammad and Ian Garry, great fight. Who do you guys think wins between Belal and Ian Garry? I'm gonna take Belal Muhammad. Honestly, I'm gonna take Belal. I'm gonna take Belal Muhammad. I'm gonna take Belal Muhammad.
Garry insists he saw cracks in Islam's striking that nobody else noticed, promising he'll turn those tiny openings into a full-blown collapse the moment they meet.
Islam's phenomenal. So he sticks to a southpaw stance. He looked far cleaner on the feet against Jack this fight, and I was very impressed by that. His calmness and his composure on the feet was elite compared to what I've seen. However, there still holds. There are still holds that you can see. If you watch that fight and you focus on the striking, there's obvious gaps that I will absolutely take advantage of. But when he grabs a hold of your leg, he's the best in the world. He's technically beautiful with his wrestling. He's smart, he's intelligent. He doesn't do silly things or make mistakes. He does the right thing every time. And he's a dangerous submission threat.
He praises Islam's composure against JDM, but says it doesn't matter because he's already identified the exact sequences Islam relies on when pressured, and he swears he's faster, sharper, and far more unpredictable.
I don't care for any of that. I'm so intelligent, I'm so smart on the feet, I'm so elusive. I'm long, I'm tall, I'm rangy, I'm undefeated against southpaws. So when we face off, he's got to get to my leg. And he's got to be able to catch me when I'm longer and taller than anyone he's ever faced before. But also, I'm just wickedly fast. That he's never seen anyone as fast as me. He can pull in bantamweights, and they're never going to be as fast as me. I'm the fastest in the world, and that's my specialty. I'm just, until they stand in front of me, they think they can do something, and then their head just starts snapping back, and they don't know what to do.
And keep watching, because in exactly 1 minute, I'll tell you the real reason Garry believes Islam has never fought anyone even close to his speed, and why that single detail changes everything.
You be the next one to do this, right? If you have Islam versus Garry, that would be the next one. And do you think you'll be able to pull the victory towards yourself?
100%. 100% I can win that fight. It won't be easy. He's phenomenal, and he's one of the best in the world for a reason. He knows exactly what he's doing every time. He's dangerous. But I know how good I am, and I know what I can do to a man like him, and to have his name on my resume, and to take the title from him, and to destroy that consecutive win streak is absolutely something that I want to do. But also, I'm aware our countries have history in the fight game. I'm aware we've had Conor, I'm aware we've had Paul, I'm aware we've had Islam and Khabib, or Usman and Khabib. Me and Islam have no beef, but our countries have fighting history. So for me, it will be a very proud moment to bring that win back for my country and take that belt from Islam.
Ian Garry admits Islam becomes a nightmare the moment he grabs a leg, calling him one of the deadliest submission artists alive, but still promises those grappling sequences will never happen because Islam will get stunned long before he shoots.
The two fight did like very well, Marais and Prates. Yeah. But I still thinking Kamaru can beat them both. And Kamaru's the biggest, and they young fighter who like hungry, but Kamaru's still dangerous and one of the best in this game, you know.
Really?
And if you give me the choice and ask me who you want to fight, I will take Kamaru, but it's not my job. Anyone, I will be ready.
He says his fight IQ is levels above the division, calling himself undefeated against southpaws and declaring Islam has never tasted the kind of velocity he brings, saying with no hesitation, "I sip the fastest in the world."
Your boys with Islam. Are we going to see a potential matchup with the Nigerian Nightmare and Islam?
With Islam potentially coming up into the division now, I don't see why not. Friends make friends rich. I love those guys. Islam, Khabib.
Garry wants Dagestan versus Ireland Part 3, and he wants it violently, insisting he's the man who will snap Islam's streak, break his aura, and drag the championship straight back to Ireland for the first time since McGregor.
Do I think the champion of the world, the pound for pound, one of the pound for pound best in the world should fight a has-been? Someone who used to be great but isn't great anymore? No. Where is he now in the rankings? Someone mentioned the rankings earlier on 8 or 9. The last fight he had was against a guy who had like 7 losses in the UFC. No. Islam Makhachev is a phenomenal fighter. And he needs to fight one of the young up-and-coming contenders, not a has-been who has no knees. So that's it. End of.
He believes the storyline is cosmic, and if you think that's bold, keep watching, because the twist coming up about Usman's involvement is going to flip this narrative upside down.
If I was Islam, I would want to fight Kamaru Usman too, because it's an easy paycheck, it's an easy win, it's an easy way for me to get my first title defense at welterweight. But when you've got the likes of me, firstly, if you look at the 4 main contenders right now, Shavkat, me, Praches, Morales, what do we all have in common? Long, tall, rangy, powerful, and full of youth. Way more dangerous than a guy who used to be the greatest. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Can you translate to him to make sure? But like, and make sure you give it you justify it. Like, not a million years. That to me is a cop out. You need to fight one of the up and comers, one of the guys that are hungry, that have that passion, that have not felt what it feels like to be a champion, that are driven to achieve their dreams.
Islam's team, meanwhile, isn't even saying Garry's name. They're publicly angling for Kamaru Usman, and the MMA world is split whether that's strategy or fear.
Belal Muhammad, Ian Garry this weekend in Qatar just got a whole lot bigger, because if Praches and Morales would have won via ho-hum decision, it would have been like a little like tap it in for Ian Garry. Now he's got to do something spectacular to let everyone know that he deserves the next crack. And oh, by the way, there's Shavkat out there who I hear is ready to go. January, February, March, he is ready to go. Do they go to him? Or is there a Kamaru Usman fight out there? And it seems like the entire Islam squad is pushing for that fight. Are they pushing for it like John Jones was pushing for the Stipe fight because they want the legacy win? Are they pushing for it because they're buddies? Are they pushing for it because they're all under the same management? I don't know. But it does seem like that's what they're pushing for. And count me among those who say I have zero interest in that fight, and it would be an absolute travesty if the likes of Michael Morales and Carlos Praches and Ian Garry are doing their thing, and Kamaru Usman, who has 1 win in the past 4 fights.
Usman is smiling, nodding, shaking hands, saying he'd love to be Islam's first title defense because of the bond they share, and Garry immediately nukes that idea from orbit.
If given the opportunity, I'm going to try to maximize it and go out there and do what I feel that I'm capable of doing. It was the same situation when I was fighting Tyron Woodley. But no, you shouldn't be next. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. It is what it is. I went out there and fought, and I did my job. And these same naysayers are saying, oh, Alexa Grasso is down the list, that she shouldn't be fighting for the title because she wasn't the next #1 contender. Guess what? She went out there and won the title. So it is what it is. And look at that. Jack Della wasn't supposed to fight for the title. But when given that opportunity, he went out there and he maximized it and did what he had to do. So I don't care what these people have to say. For me, as far as what I feel about the chances,
Ian Garry says Kamaru Usman is irrelevant and blasts Khabib's team for what he calls another carefully chosen easy fight designed to pad Islam's streak with minimum risk.
I think the chances are great. I mean, just like you and I just discussed, the time would be now to fight for the title.
He says no fan on earth wants Islam versus Usman, calling it a retirement fight masquerading as a title defense, and claims picking a nearly 40-year-old with no knees is Islam trying to sneak into his 17th straight win without facing danger.
I've said it's no secret. I love Islam. And I'm close with all those guys over there, Khabib and Zuba and Usman and Umar. I like those guys. I really do. And also with Rizvan and Ali working with the mix, there's no animosity here. There's no bad blood, just competition. We do this for free in the gym every day. Now, for us to go out there and just entertain the masses, I love it. I think it would be great. Now, on fight week and fight night, we're staring at each other, knowing that we are going to have to punch each other. I think that feeling might change momentarily, but if I do hurt him and he's down and there's a follow-up shot to potentially put him away, that's the difference, is I won't take that shot.
Garry doubles down, saying Khabib and his team are geniuses at selecting the softest possible opponents, and that Islam defending his belt against a former great who isn't great anymore would be an embarrassment to the entire welterweight division.
Ilya could knock heavyweights out. We've seen that. He can knock anyone out when he touches them. I think Ilya versus Islam is the biggest fight the UFC can make, hands down, in my opinion. You've got two-weight world champions. One will try to go for greatness and be the first triple champ of all time. So it's an absolutely gigantic fight. Like, you cannot beat around the bush. You have to just state the obvious and understand it. However, I don't know if the UFC want to do that, because then you slow down two divisions. But is it worth it? If they're going to get the money in return and the business is there and the people want to see it, the UFC will do it. So it's an interesting topic. I don't believe they're going to do it right now. I think when you've got the likes of Sarukian and Paddy and Gaethje, they need to have that belt competed at lightweight, and Ilya needs to defend that belt. Islam just won the belt and has to fight a welterweight. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. But it absolutely is the biggest fight in the sport you could make right now. Way bigger than anything to do with John Jones and Aspinall and Pereira, in my opinion.
He even admits that if he were Islam, he'd also pick Usman, calling it the easiest paycheck, the safest debut at 170, and the fight that lets him avoid the young killers. And don't blink, because we're seconds away from the biggest political twist in this entire situation.
I'm going to prove to the entire UFC welterweight division that walking this planet right now, I am the best welterweight on this planet, and nobody can stop me.
Ariel Helwani jumps into the fire, saying the Belal Muhammad versus Ian Garry fight has now become a seismic moment because Garry needs an unforgettable performance to leapfrog Morales and Prates.
Because as I said, Belal has knocked out number 2 in Sean Brady, and he has smashed number 3 in Leon Edwards. So when you smoke Belal, it's obvious what comes next. Now, if I go out there and do that to Sean Brady, someone can have that argument, oh, but you haven't beat this guy, and someone else, and I didn't want any of that. So for me, it actually worked out better, Ariel. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. Have you been told though you beat Belal, you're next?
When you knock out number 1 in the world, there is nothing else. When you knock out a former champion and who's number 1 in the world right now, and you smash him in less rounds than JDM could, then that's all that matters to me. I know I'm getting a world title fight after this.
Helwani also calls a potential Islam versus Usman fight unfair, pointing out Usman hasn't beaten a top contender in years, while Shafkat is ready early next year and the entire welterweight food chain is being disrupted.
You've never been hesitant to give a very thorough and broken down prediction. What are you going to do to Ian Garry in there on Saturday?
Honestly, for me, it's I think Ian's going to try to run around the whole first round. But then by the end of the first round, his little point jabbing is not going to work. Then I'm going to grab a hold of him. I'm going to take him down. I'm going to let him back up just because I want to show him that I could take you down if I want to. And then I'm going to outbox him because he said he could outstrike me. He thinks he's a pretty striker. He's been in there with some great strikers, right? He's been there with MVP. He's been there with Shafkat. He's been there with Prates. And none of the guys finished him. So for me, it's finishing him on the feet and then reminding everybody who I am.
But Usman fires right back, rejecting every doubt, saying whenever he gets an opportunity, he delivers, reminding fans that Alexa Grasso and JDM weren't expected to get title fights either, yet they showed up and shocked the world.
Belal Muhammad, when he was defending his world title in Montreal, Canada, thought that he could outbox a boxer. He was an idiot, and he was wrong. I hope he thinks he can try that to me. It'll make my life easier.
Usman says he's motivated, prepared, and believes this is the perfect moment to climb the mountain one more time, and insists a fight with Islam would be about competition, not hatred.
In contrast, Ian Garry has his next 5 fights planned out. Curious if you think he's overlooking you when he starts talking like that, or if it's just his way of hyping himself up.
No, I think he's good at like reading a script, right? His writers, his wife, they're all writing stuff down for him to say. So he's good at reading it, but you're not good at putting it to action. Like, anybody could have their thoughts, their plans, their future written down, but we're still in the present. And Saturday night, I'm gonna have to change the story.
He even says that if he hurt Islam in a real fight, he wouldn't follow up with an extra shot, promising nothing but respect, but Garry calls all of that sentimental nonsense that distracts from the rankings.
Yes, Belal Muhammad versus Ian Garry, one that I didn't even think about. I didn't even think to put together. I've never actually put those two names together at all. And then when I saw it, I was like, yeah, of course, that's, you know, an obvious potential fight. Stylistically, striking-wise, obviously, it leans to Garry. Wrestling-wise, massively leans towards Belal. I do feel like as long as Belal doesn't try to stand there and strike with him, and he mixes up the same way he basically did with Leon Edwards. He came out very heavily on the front foot, pressuring, forcing Leon on his back foot, which allowed for takedowns more easily, which allowed him to land strikes as well. If he does that kind of game, I think he'll walk through.
Meanwhile, the hype around Ilia Topuria versus Islam continues to build like a volcano, and Garry admits it might be the biggest fight in the entire sport, bigger than Jones, bigger than Aspinall, bigger than Pereira.
Ian Garry, it might be a bit tricky initially, but Garry is, from what I've seen, difficult to take down. He's actually not as straightforward as people may assume. He seems difficult, he gets back up, but that will also take it out of his own body, so for his strike. So it will kill his ability to be able to knock out and get a knockout win. He'd have to only win on points. But I'd slightly lean towards Belal.
But he says the UFC won't make it because it freezes both divisions and leaves contenders like Arman, Paddy, and Gaethje stuck in limbo while Islam still needs a welterweight fight.
What do you think about this matchup between Ian and Belal?
I think it's a very different, like, striker, grappler, obviously, but I do think that Belal can bring that pressure if he's smart, and I think he's just going to stay so close to Ian, take that space away, and I do favor Belal to get it done.
And before I tell you the insane prediction Garry made about the Belal fight, remember this: one matchup in this entire storyline could force the UFC to reshuffle multiple divisions overnight.
Both my boys, obviously Belal, both my brothers, man. Like Belal is my brother, man. And I love Ian. He is my dog, probably him been close for years. Edge, you got to go with the edge though. The edge has to go to the champion, you know, just for the former champion. I mean, once a champion, always a champion. You know what I mean? So if I don't, I'm not gonna throw the former in there when I'm addressing the champion. I'm addressing the champion. You know what I'm saying? So he's seen more different diversity of opponents.
Belal Muhammad versus Ian Garry is now officially locked in for UFC Qatar, and the winner is almost guaranteed to be breathing down Islam's neck for the next title shot.
Like, I don't know, they both have their strengths, you know what I mean? Ian's timing and his patience is what I could see. As long as Belal is equally as patient, I mean, I think he could kind of know if but Ian is patient, bro. He'll just wait. He'll say he'll get in position that he wants to be in, and to wait until you show him what he wants to see, and then he'll crack you. You know what I mean? As long as, that's the thing. But yeah, Belal just can't lunge and the overreaching. You know what I mean? The reaching whenever he's like, as long as he don't do that, if he stays close and he stays in tight and he makes him fight in a small pocket and box, and then makes him like do what he does, you know what I mean? Belal wins that fight, I think. Maybe.
Garry says beating Belal, especially beating him faster than JDM did, makes his title claim undeniable, unavoidable, and unstoppable.
That's a tough one. I really like Belal, man. I know the people aren't big fans of Belal, but I really like Belal, so I hope he wins. But I could definitely see Garry winning that fight. But I think Belal, with his awesome cardio and just his ability to grind through.
He mocks Belal for thinking he could outstrike a pure boxer in JDM, calling him an idiot who got humbled for trying, and warns that if Belal tries that against him, the fight will be over before the commentary team even finishes the intro. Garry also calls Belal irrelevant for believing he has a chance, saying his own timing, speed, and striking IQ will expose Belal immediately, violently, and definitively. And when all these storylines collide, Usman's comeback dream, Islam's legacy, Garry's rise, Belal's desperation, Shavkat's arrival, the welterweight division is about to enter the most chaotic era we've seen in years. That's everything for today, so drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like, smash subscribe, and stay locked in because the next update in this war is going to send shockwaves across the entire MMA world.